All right, what's up, you guys? This morning I took two trades on stream. It was this loss right here and then this break even trade. Obviously I was bearish on the day, yes, and I'll explain everything. I'll explain how I caught this win. But I wanted to do a quick trade recap because I actually ended the stream after this trade here, and I saw that we were approaching the zone. So I was like, you know what? Let me wait for this trade before I go lay down. Again, the reason I ended the stream was because I don't feel good. It's that time of the month and all I want to do is lay down. So I was like, you know what? Let me go lay down. Then I was like, okay, this opportunity might present, so let me be patient. And I was, and it played out well, and I ended up making 10.9 thousand across all fundeds. Okay, beautiful, right? If you don't believe me, here's the proof. Here's the execution. I executed these two trades on stream, and then this one was a quick one off stream. Now let's do the trade recap and explain kind of why I was so bearish. Okay, I wasn't so bearish, but I had a couple reasons, okay? First of all, um when we zoom out and look at VWAP. The VWAP is something that I don't really use to trade. I use as a confluence. And this morning, I saw that the last time we touched VWAP was about, I think it was like almost 12 hours. Yeah, it was about 12 hours. Now, I've never heard of anyone kind of talk about this, but for me, I've kind of noticed this pattern where if NASDAQ hasn't touched VWAP in over, I would say about 10 hours, and the New York session is about to open up, then most of the time we actually end up touching VWAP. Okay. So that was one of the confluence towards why I was bearish. Okay. Pretty simple one, right? VWAP. Okay. But another reason to why I was kind of bearish, or I had kind of a reason to take the short, um, was simple support and resistance. Now, I don't trade support and resistance as like the specific strategy, but I do use it for confluence. Okay, on the bigger time frame. If you've watched my trade recaps a couple months ago, I used to have these white lines, something like that. I used to have a lot of white lines, and I do it on the 1 hour time frame. But the reason I stopped drawing the white lines is because I never used them for all of my entries. Never really did. Okay, they were kind of just there for a little confluence, I guess. But the issue with that was that I had so many white lines, I couldn't tell which one was important. So now what I do is I mark out my supply and demand, and then I like to zoom out and see if we're at an area of support or resistance. And I just kind of keep in the back of my head, like, yes, we could jump off of the zone, or we could break past it or reject it. Who knows? Anyways, if we zoom out in this area, and I'll mark it out so you can see what I'm talking about. This area here, I'll mark it out blue. No, that's a bad blue right there. I'll mark it out green so you can really see it here. This area was resistance before, right here. We broke past it and it turned into support. We broke past it again. Yesterday, we ended up retesting it again and it turned into resistance. This morning, we tapped it again and it turned into resistance. Now, this didn't happen before, right? We didn't reject this a couple hours ago, but I kind of had a feeling that it was going to reject it because, it's a pattern, right? The market repeats patterns over and over and over again, whether it's a pattern during the day or throughout the year or throughout the month, right? Patterns are a big part of trading. Okay, and with that is also like areas of interest, right? This area here, yes, it's support, yes, it's resistance. At the end of the day, it's just an area of interest, right? Another reason to why I took short was not just because we had support and resistance in this area, but also because we had a 1 hour supply zone appear, which we never tapped into, but we had a 1 hour supply zone. And then in this 1 hour supply zone, we also have a 30-minute supply zone. Now, I know it looks weird that I have a zone within a zone, and usually I don't do this. I only do this when the 50% lines are slightly different. Or if we have a smaller zone within a bigger zone, then I do mark it out. Why do I do that? Because this 1 hour zone is pretty big and the 30-minute zone is smaller. So we might get a better entry off the 30-minute, a more accurate entry. Wow, this is really selling off here. I'm not surprised. Um, but yeah, the reason I kind of mark zones within zones is because you could get a better entry within it. And the perfect example is from today. Okay, so today we tapped this 1 hour supply zone, this big zone here. And I was kind of waiting for the shorts to pop up. I would have taken short if we broke this 1 minute wick here. That obviously that never happened because we rallied all the way up to the 30-minute zone, right? The smaller zone right up here. As soon as we tap the 30-minute zone and also close to this 50% line, we get a nasty red engulfing bearish candle. Now, usually, if I didn't have this 1 hour zone here and I just had the 30-minute, the entry could have been right up here because we broke this 1 minute wick. That's usually how my entry is. But I was like, you know what? Let me wait. But once I saw that red engulfing candle, I was like, yeah, this is going to dump. So I took the short. The entry was, it looks like it was off of this 1 minute wick here, right? So right up here, that was where the entry was. The continuation of the engulfing candle. And yeah, basically I cut it off at about a 1-4, almost a 1-4. No, yeah, it is a 1-4, basically. But I also knew that it wanted to touch VWAP because again, we hadn't touched it in over 12 hours. And again, usually when that happens, when it's about to open New York session and we haven't touched VWAP in over 10 hours, usually I would say we're going to tap it during this opening. It doesn't happen all the time, not 100% of the time. Again, trading's not perfect. Not everything with trading is going to happen 100% of the time. But I will say this little VWAP thing that I have, it does happen quite a bit. So it is a pattern that I do look for. And in today's case, it played out really well. But yeah, this was a really good short. As you can see, it's played out for over 350 points. That is that's actually pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm also not surprised. Again, because I had so many confluences for the shorts. But yeah, something I could have done better was definitely wait for us to tap the zone up here. If you watch the stream, you can see that I said that's what I was waiting for. But something about my strategy is that I like to take entries basically within the first 15 minutes. Okay, no, within the first 30 minutes. So if I see an opportunity, even though it might not be 100% perfect, I might take it, right? And the reason I took these shorts was because even though I wanted the market to tap this area, I was also thinking that the market wanted to tap VWAP. So I didn't want to miss out on that move. So once I kind of saw that I thought that we were breaking past the zone. We never did that. Okay, it was a fake out. Okay, and then I saw this 5-minute supply zone. I saw we rejected it. So I was like, okay, let me take this short. We're probably gonna touch VWAP now, and we never did. So I was like, okay, damn, let me call it a day here. Turned off the stream, waited. I waited for the perfect entry, and it played out insanely well. If I was on a live account, I would have left some type of runner. Why would I have left a runner on this trade? Because on the bigger time frame, it just aligns. Like there were so many confluences to be bearish today. There was a couple. But yeah, something I want to mention in this video is that everyone is different, right? Not just with trading, but in real life. Everyone's different, and trading is the same way. Everyone's strategy, everyone's way of trading is going to be different. I'm not saying mine's is perfect or anything. I'm just saying it works for me, right? It works for me. As long as your strategy works for you, don't let anyone tell you that it doesn't work. As long as you can prove to yourself that the strategy works, it works. Don't listen to anyone else. Don't listen to a hater. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers. Gosh, that is crazy. I have more content coming out. Um and yeah, if you're still watching this, that means you're a really big supporter and I thank you for it. If you can do me a big favor and like this video, and if you have time, let me know what type of videos you want to see from me. Even though I do stream every single morning on YouTube, I also want to focus on posting more videos. Because of course they're different than the stream, right? They're shorter, they have more specific topics. And yeah, I want you guys to tell me what you guys want to see more. If you want to see more trade recaps, let me know. I'll definitely be happy to. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day.